What does God want from you? Have you ever pondered over this thought-provoking question? In our journey through life, we often seek to understand our purpose and our place in the grand design. At the very heart of this inquiry lies a divine desire, a longing from God for a relationship with us. Yes, you heard it right, a relationship, one that is intimate and profound. Just like humans, there are many types of relationships we can cultivate with God. We can be a servant of God, dutifully carrying out His will. We can be a son or a daughter to God, embodying the essence of filial love and respect. But of all these relationships, the one that God cherishes the most, the one He yearns for, is that of a lover, an intimate bond that transcends the physical realm and touches the very core of our spiritual being. So let's delve deeper into understanding this divine longing. Firstly, we often view ourselves as servants of God, fulfilling His commandments and living a life of obedience. This servant relationship is a cornerstone of many faiths, a testament to our dedication and commitment to our Creator. We follow His teachings and walk the path He has laid out for us, striving to perform good deeds and avoid transgressions. We serve, we obey, we submit. Now don't misunderstand. This servant relationship is indeed important. It's a manifestation of our respect, our reverence for God. It's a way for us to express our gratitude, to give back for all the blessings we've received. In the grand tapestry of our relationship with God, the threads of servitude are undeniably vital. However, it's important to realize that this is not the entirety of what God wants from us. Yes, He values our obedience, our willingness to serve, but this is not all He seeks. Service, after all, can sometimes be impersonal, detached. It's possible to serve without truly knowing, without truly loving. Imagine a king and his servant. The servant obeys the king, follows his orders, fulfills his duties. But does the servant know the king's heart? Does he understand the king's hopes, his dreams, his fears? Similarly, we can serve God, but do we know God? Do we seek to understand Him, to love Him beyond our service? In the divine scheme of things, God doesn't just want servants. He could command the rocks and the trees, the wind and the waves to serve Him. But He chose us, human beings with hearts capable of understanding, of compassion, of love. He chose us, not just for our capacity to serve, but for our capacity to love. God, however, yearns for more than just a master-servant relationship with us. Next, we often consider ourselves as children of God, loved and cared for by our divine parent. This is a relationship that transcends the boundaries of time and space, a connection as old as creation itself. When we view ourselves as children of God, we acknowledge a connection that is intimate, personal, and deeply rooted in love. Imagine the relationship between a parent and a child. It's a bond that is filled with warmth, care, and endless love. The parent nurtures the child, guiding them, protecting them, and providing for them. This is the filial relationship we share with our divine parent, God. We are God's children, and He loves us with an incomparable, unconditional love that surpasses all human understanding. God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless love, cares for us, guides us, and provides for us. He is our divine parent, always watching over us, always ready to lend a hand, always filled with love for His children. This relationship is more personal, more intimate than the servant relationship we've previously discussed. However, even this relationship, as beautiful and as nurturing as it is not the ultimate relationship that God desires with us. While we are indeed God's children, and He is indeed our divine parent, God yearns for something deeper, something more intimate, something that transcends even the bond between a parent and a child. God yearns for a relationship that is based on love, but not just any love. He yearns for a love that is passionate, personal, and profound. A love that is intimate. A love that is shared between lovers. This is the relationship that God ultimately desires with us. A relationship that is not based on servitude, nor on filial love alone, but on the passionate love that exists between lovers. But even this relationship is not the pinnacle of what God desires with us. The relationship God treasures the most is that of a lover, intimate and deeply personal. This bond transcends the boundaries of a servant or a child. It is a connection that is profound, that reaches into the very depths of our souls, allowing us to experience God in a way that is truly unique. This lover relationship is not about romantic love as we often perceive it. Instead, it's about an intimate connection, a profound knowing and understanding. It's about being so deeply in tune with God that His desires become our desires, His joy becomes our joy, and His pain becomes our pain. It's about knowing God so intimately that we can feel His heart beating within our own. Why does God cherish this bond so profoundly? Because it allows us to truly know Him, not just as an omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient being, but as a loving entity who yearns for a deep, personal connection with each one of us. This relationship allows us to love God as He loves us, in all our imperfections, in all our failings. It allows us to see God not just as a divine figure, but as a loving companion on our journey through life. In this lover relationship, we are not merely servants or children. We are partners, co-creators, walking hand in hand with God, sharing in His divine purpose. We are not merely obeying commands or seeking approval. We are living in harmony with God, dancing to the divine music that resonates in our hearts. Through this relationship, we come to understand that we are not separate from God. We are one with Him, united in a bond of love that transcends the physical, that transcends time and space. We come to understand that God is not just out there somewhere, but right here within us, closer than our own breath. This lover relationship with God is a journey, an adventure. It's a dance of the soul, a symphony of love. It's a sacred bond that brings us closer to God, that helps us understand His nature, His desires, His love for us. This is the relationship that God yearningly seeks with us. Knowing what God desires, how then do we cultivate such an intimate relationship with Him? As we've seen, the relationship God yearns for is one of deep intimacy, akin to the bond between lovers. But how do we foster this kind of connection? Let's dive into some practical ways that can help us build a closer relationship with the divine. Firstly, we cultivate this relationship by spending time in prayer and meditation. This isn't merely a ritual or a duty, but an opportunity to connect with God on a deeply personal level. Think of it as having a conversation with a dear friend where you can share your deepest thoughts, your fears, your joys, and your desires. It's a space where you can be your authentic self. Secondly, studying the scriptures is another crucial way to nurture this relationship. The scriptures are a treasure trove of divine wisdom, and they offer insights into God's character, His love, His promises, and His desires for us. By immersing ourselves in the scriptures, we get to know God more intimately, and this knowledge deepens our love for Him. Lastly, but certainly not least, we cultivate this intimate relationship by living a life of love and service to others. Love, after all, is the essence of God's character. When we love others selflessly and serve them without expecting anything in return, we mirror God's love. We become His hands and feet in the world, expressing His love in tangible ways. Remember, cultivating an intimate relationship with God isn't about ticking off a checklist or earning points. It's about the journey, the daily choices we make to invite God into our lives, to get to know Him better, and to express His love in the world. As we walk this path, we'll find that the relationship we're cultivating isn't just with God, but it's also with our own hearts, our fellow humans, and the world around us. These are the ways through which we can foster the intimate relationship that God desires. God's desire for an intimate relationship with us is a divine invitation to know Him better. This is the crux of our journey today. We've explored the various facets of our relationship with the divine, from the servant's humility to the child's trust, and ultimately, the lover's passion. In each of these relationships, the common thread is intimacy, a deep connection that transcends the physical. We are not just servants, children, or lovers of God. We are all of these and more. We are invited to experience God's love in a way that is deeply personal, transformative, and empowering. Cultivating this intimate relationship involves daily communication with God, understanding His word, and living it out. It's a journey that requires faith, patience, and love, but the rewards are immense. Will you accept this divine invitation and strive to cultivate the intimate relationship that God so desires with you? The choice is yours. The invitation is open. The journey awaits.